So, hello everybody. Good morning, good evening, good night, wherever you are, and welcome to the Knack Bros podcast. Today we have your host. I'm Sean, and we have our other host, Michael.
Yeah, I'm Michael, and yeah, let's get started.
All right. So today's topic, we're talking about cable television and American animation and how it's fallen drastically since around what era you say the 2010s.
Yeah,
Since you're more versed in this topic, can you start us off, please?
so basically, what I think about is there hasn't been a cartoon in, let's say, like the last decade or so that's like everybody that's released and everybody's talking about it, even adults. Like it's just a legendary name. Like even like Adventure Time, like like shows like Adventure Time, Gravity Falls. Like my dad was watching Gravity Falls when he was keeping up episodes.
Yeah.
There hasn't been a cartoon that appeals to all ages, and so you kind of see like less people, even like looking out for cartoons. Like nobody cares about Cartoon Network anymore, and they
Yeah.
gone through their economic struggles, and yeah, just things of that nature.
I feel also that cartoons these days are so much more catered to not even just kids of like ages in like fifth grade, fourth grade, even going into middle school. They're just more catered to like
Yeah,
literal toddlers, and like
you kind of
you have your outliers though. Recently, I've seen a lot more outliers. I've not watched them personally, but I've definitely seen a lot more just like pop out. There's
yeah.
this
I mean,
one show on Disney XD. It's called Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur, I believe. You heard of it, right?
yeah, I've
That
heard of
that
that show.
looks like something I think a bit older kid would watch.
Yeah, there's some networks that are still producing like quality shows, like Disney XD. I'll give them credit. They still produce some pretty great
I
shows.
think yeah,
Owl House is very well received.
they have
Amphibia is very well
Ducktales.
received. Yeah,
I
DuckTales
love
is
Ducktales.
DuckTales is goofy. It's nice. Um, but yeah, somewhere in like the mid 2010s, you kind of saw like them kind of dumbing down the cartoons a bit. Like you had Teen Titans and then Teen Titans
Yeah,
Go, which is the
I feel I
baby down
I
version.
kind of think Teen Titans was like the pioneer to it in a way.
Yeah,
Cause ever since then, I feel like things got a little just dumbified. Yeah,
yeah. Because you also had Total Drama and then the Total Drama little
spinoff.
kid version, yeah, which is made to be dumbed down, and you saw that happen with a lot of IPs. There's the Powerpuff Girls rerun,
Yeah,
the the Looney Tunes rerun, the
and
Scooby Doo
and they're all
rerun.
just yeah, it's all just little kid versions.
Yeah,
And then I think adult animation, moving away from the topic of what you call it, children's animation. I think they've also just gotten like bad and just lazy recently.
yeah,
There are a lot of shows that just show up and it's just an adult show. There's no like
yeah,
there's no love behind it. You saw that new
yeah,
what you call it, Good Times reboot ish thing.
yeah. That came and went.
It came and went. Yeah,
Yeah, and then there's also Velma.
Velma was a thing. Yeah.
The Velma came and went as well. And yeah, I mean, and with the adult shows, it's more about laziness, to be honest.
Yeah, I
Um,
feel it's that way recently.
they're not doing their due diligence. Like there's a show that while not necessarily adult, uh, you have Mind vs. Superman,
Yeah.
which premiered on Adult Swim, and like you see how that show there's a lot of effort, love put into it. Like they really
Yeah.
cared about the final product. Same thing with Adventure Time, Fiona and Cake, which is like a lot more adult.
A lot more
Um,
adult centered based off of a kids show.
yeah, but they still
It handles more adult topics than kid shows with these days.
yeah,
And there's more like, adult events, I guess. There's some swearing here and there.
yeah.
How do you feel that I guess American animation could recover from like this era that they're in?
So I don't. I mean, I'm not an animator, but from what I see, animators like say their projects are very underfunded. So that's why you have projects that are quote unquote lazy, because the animators don't care. Like they're starting to be discontent with the industry itself,
Yeah.
which is uh, I mean, it's something from the inside. Like these big cable execs that own these networks. they have to just start caring. They have to start putting more money into it
Yeah,
and letting these animators make the shows that they really want to make. Because if you would the second that you let animators get, um, I guess like um the I'm
creative
looking for a
liberty.
word. Yeah, like you take the creative liberty out of it for them, then
That
you're
that
not gonna
almost
get good
happened with
products.
shows like Gravity Falls. The writers
Yeah,
were trying so hard to like babyfy it, babyfy it all the time,
yeah,
and that led to just a bunch of like I guess power struggles of the writer and the show,
yeah,
what you call it, runners, I
yeah.
guess.
Because it's easier, it's more affordable, it's cheaper to make a show that appeals to babies, and it's harder to take your time and have all these writers and make a show that appeals to all ages and the writing is just good. You know,
Yeah,
like and you even see it like SpongeBob is like the perfect representation of this. Right, it's been running well over 24 years now,
yeah,
right? Premiered in 1999, and it's just like you've seen how the quality when you switch out the writers and Nickelodeon just wants to make it easier, so they're making SpongeBob for babies. When SpongeBob was a show that appealed to every age,
yeah.
and from seasons 1 to seasons 5.
Yeah, I'd really think so. Yeah, because what you call it, my sister, she's about 20 something, almost pushing 30, right?
Yeah,
She loved SpongeBob for like the longest, and like one night we was going to bed when I was over at my mom. She said, "Put on any cartoon. I can turn on SpongeBob. That's one of the shows I can turn on, you know." And she'll still like be content with watching that. It won't be like, oh, why am I watching this show for babies? I think a
yeah,
lot of shows, like you said, lost that magic of being for all ages. A lot of
yeah,
animated shows.
yeah. And there's multiple shows in previous generation that's like that. Like me and my sister was a avid fan of Adventure Time until she was like 20. Like she's in her 20s now. She's still an avid fan of Adventure Time. She still swears by it. My dad, who's like 43, is like he's a super fan of like Gravity Falls, Avatar.
Yeah,
So
my dad's pushing almost 60. He loves Avatar. I saw him
yeah,
watching it the other day.
so yeah, like cartoons don't have to appeal to a certain age group, but that's just something that we lost.
I think so. Yeah.
And I guess I mean in order to get it back, you just need more funding, and I you
More
just need lock in.
reasonable like publishers, animation
Yeah,
studios rather. A lot of them are just like unreasonably dead set on what they want and not really giving the animators their proper like liberties of
yeah,
animating. And like you said, yeah, animators stopped caring. It's taken fun out of it.
yeah. But again, like you still have a few good cartoons out there. There's still a few good IPs. I don't think the animation scene is something that'll completely die. Everybody loves a good cartoon,
Yeah,
but um, it's definitely in the worst state that it's ever been at this point
the
in
absolute
time.
worst.
I believe. I mean, yeah, and it doesn't help that cable as a product is dying as well,
I
which
think
is
it's
like
died out for a while. Yeah,
yeah, which is a whole other can of worms because it's not even that in general shows have gotten worse on cable. It's just that with streaming services, there's no point in paying Verizon or whoever, however many
yeah.
when you can just have all these streaming
When you could just
services for
have,
cheaper.
and then most people, there's the people who don't even use streaming services. Some people just pirate
Yeah,
them straight up.
yeah. So yeah, that's another thing with the internet. Things are just gotten so accessible and easy to have.
Do you think
So
that's also been like somewhat of a like a reason that animators or animation companies have put out less effort?
well, I understand. Um, Hanna Barbera, which is like Warner Brothers, which
Yeah.
is cartoon. They straight up went bankrupt at some point, and they had to cancel all their shows because of that.
Was that
Um,
what was one of the shows that they canceled?
there was a show made by the people who made regular show. I
Yeah.
forgot the name.
Close enough.
Yeah, close enough.
Yeah,
Which
that
was
got
canceled.
canceled.
Yeah, that was canceled. And there was also a lot of shows that got shelved like to streaming immediately. They didn't even get to go on cable. So
Yeah.
Infinity Train season one, which is another great show. Infinity Train season one was on cable, but the rest of it was put on HBO
HBO
Max immediately.
Max, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think streaming like television shows on streaming services like transferring from that to streaming services? Do you think that's also another thing that damages how they perform?
Well, if you're not honestly, I don't think the cable scene is again as like it's not
Prominent?
as notable. It's not as notable.
Oh, okay,
It's not
yeah.
as prominent. So I don't think a show getting sent to HBO Max is like its end all be all for popularity. It definitely hurts good because you're not getting it from two sources anymore, but people will still look up for episodes if they're interested in that. That comes from a whole other avenue of popularity, you know?
Yeah. All right. Well,
This is nice looking up.
thank you. Whatchamacallit, I think that's a good place to wrap up.
Yeah.
Overall, we covered we covered how just animation studios in general have just fallen due to either modernization and technology from other like people over the world, right? So some call it streaming services online, pirating stuff like that, and then the way animation studios they like shelf creators' ideas and then they push so hard for their own, which kind of damages how
Yeah.
the creators of self perform.
Yeah.
All right. My opinion. I think earlier I asked the question of how they could, I guess, revert that change. I don't. It obviously not going to happen overnight, but I think there are like outliers, right? Like you said, My Adventures with Superman and Fiona and Cake. I think those
Yeah.
are good stepping stones to like
You just
bring
have to
back
yeah,
how the
you
animation
have to make the
studio
world
is.
because if Fiona and Cake did very very well, and that's a lot of money that's going to be funded into a season two. So
Yeah,
that's a real already a really big step. You just have to make the world believe in cartoons again.
yeah.
Quite simple. You
That's
have to
a
make the world
it's
believe
a
in cartoons
very
again
fairy
so
tale idea,
much.
but yeah,
Yeah, so much that they'll go to any streaming service or whatever to find a cartoon. And
yeah.
as for cable, it's cooked.
Okay. Thank you, thank you, Michael.
Yeah.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching our first episode on Knack Bros podcast. I'm your host Sean, and our co-host, a wonderful co-host Michael.
Mhm.
Tune in for the next episode. Talk about it in the comments. Let us know what your favorite cartoons are, how you view the change in cartoons over time, and we'll catch you next time. Later.
People.